And Gallatin gets the bat.
Hustle by Russell.
Here goes Meredith.
NBA TV presents NBA80s. A way cool look at the league and life in a time we'll always remember, though some might like to forget.
Could you get away with that now? No.
Afro, sideburns, yellow pants, plaid pants, whatever they were.
But no one can deny that the hoops were fly.
And you don't call them, you say, your mama.
All the righteous plays.
Larry Bird follows his own shot.
The freshest moves.
Magic down the middle, just what I thought. A hook shot at 12. Good!
And the most excellent moments that defined the decade.
A shot on Elo. Good! The Bulls win it! They win it!
Coming up right now, it's totally NBA80s. And
It's totally boss.
by the time the 81-82 season rolled around, Magic had already teamed with Kareem for a title.
And Magic Johnson is out there celebrating.
And the Celtics had built the Big Three into champions. It was clear that the NBA80s were going to be fantastic.
Leave the special effects to the singers and the dancers.
Really tall men in short shorts were poised to take the association to another level.
These right here look like the shorts that my wife might wear to bed.
And out in Hollywood, the game was about to change with the launch of a blockbuster.
Showtime? La da 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 da. What do you mean?
Showtime was coming down on a fast break. Looking left. Throwing right.
Magic come down, boom, boom, yo, bam, that way. I'm like, I could never figure out how Magic could do that.
I think Magic is Showtime.
It's got class, it's got style.
The style of play that he had made that team Showtime.
Showtime!
Fast and furious.
You almost got tired looking at them because it almost felt like you were looking at a tennis match.
James Worthy, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Jamal Wilkes. Oh, I'll say it was fun.
Magic is straight down the middle. Oh! Highlight film.
It was like 3D before it even came out.
We just happened to be right next door to Hollywood.
You don't miss a Laker game if you're in LA. And it was like how people rush home now to see Dancing with the Stars.
Magic. The crowd will be talking about that for a week.
You're watching Magic, and you're watching Kareem, you're watching Worthy, but you're also watching Jack Nicholson and Diane Cannon. You're like, hey, I saw that guy in that movie last week.
Not since James Brown at the Apollo did you have this kind of entertainment.
Just like an orchestra needs a dude in a tux with a baton, Showtime had its own maestro with plenty of style.
Pat Riley. Italian suits and the smell of leather comes to mind.
Pat Riley's always been the smoothest and the coolest.
He may have been one of those guys that had 50 of the same suits hanging in his closet because it looked like he had the same one on every night. First dude to ever make me want to wear a tailor suit. Come on now.
I was of the Sonny Bono look back in the early 70s. One day in 1978 or 79, didn't do anything but comb my hair straight back.
How's my Pat Riley look?
I wish I had slick hair, too. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to comb it back. It wouldn't lift. Ah! Ah! Come on, PR in the building.
Pat Riley was the coach that I dressed well, and I'm a basketball genius.
Good.
He's all about basketball. He's all about winning, and he's all about doing it in the right way.
That's what it's about.
The flow of young stars into the NBA continued, with the likes of Mark Aguirre, Rolando Blackman, and Tom Chambers.
Wow, that's right. Mark Aguirre.
Ro Blackman, one of the best shooters ever played in the game.
Tom Chambers made me want to be a big guy that could go to the hoop.
And in Motown, they got into the groove with a new frontman.
Isaiah Thomas of the University of Indiana.
Looked like he was like 14 when he was drafted. He looked soft.
He tried to give off like he was such a good guy. He had that nice little smile. If you talk about a stone-cold killer.
Back come the Pistons. Isaiah quickly up the right side. Screen from Dantley on Coulter. Isaiah.
He was the first guy to really bring that city attitude to that position at the point. Not only am I going to beat you, I'm going to embarrass you while I beat you.
Now comes back toward the lane, to the hoop, up in, off the glass, and he's fouled. Holy cow.
He's the only guy I've seen stand in the middle of 5 guys and dribble the basketball. You can't touch him. You're wondering, how in the hell is he doing this?
I remember he did that move where that layup where he threw it to himself. No one's ever done that still. And if they did, they didn't do it, make it look as good. He did it in a game.
There's never been anybody as dynamic and dominant an offensive force at that size in NBA history.
But the top rookie in the class of '82 was a young buck, actually named Buck.
We're taking Buck Williams.
One of the meanest, toughest guys ever in the NBA.
I would always tell players, if you're not a man enough to do it off the floor, don't do it on the floor. Herb, keep it up. One more time. One more time, we're going to go in the hallway.
Yes, he's the strongest man in the league and maybe the strongest man ever to play in the NBA.
Just kind of like, I'm a little scared of you because you got muscles. You don't have sports muscles. I've been lifting some weight muscles.
This guy's scary.
Buck Williams, hammer time. Buck! He didn't take no jump. And if your name Buck, do you really want that? Your man Buck looking for you. I ain't say nothing about Buck.
Coming up next on NB80s.
Rabbits with the little pearl diver glasses.
Now, these are perfect. You should get fined if you wear real glasses in the game and you tape them.
NB80s Volume 2, we'll be right back. Welcome back to NB80s Volume 2.
To go a whole season and not score under 100 points, that's amazing.
100 points a game for a whole season. Bing, 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 bing.
Bam, bam, bam. First one to 1,000.
Who was on that squad in Denver? Who was that, Dan Issel?
His whole front, all his furniture in the front was gone.
I only took my teeth out when I played, but I think a lot of people thought I just didn't have teeth the whole time.
Yeah, David Thompson, too.
My nickname was the Skywalker. Of course, I had the 44-inch vertical leap.
Kiki Vandeweghe, oh my God.
He scores it, and what a move by Vandeweghe.
Alex English.
Look at English. Turned around by English.
We still had a little bit of that ABA in us, where we got up and down the court.
They're playing at altitude, and they basically said, we are going to run you until you can't breathe anymore.
And your chest is burning.
Cats are like, time out! Ah!
Denver, you could say, could run up some scores.
To run it up in Denver, the Nuggets were relying on altitude. But in Philly, the weapon of choice was Andrew Toney's attitude.
He was vicious.
In that first step,
He would just blow by anybody.
Yeah. He would jab step you, and then step back. Andrew Toney was bad.
I just try to utilize my offensive ability to the utmost.
Andrew Toney, a.k.a. the Boston Strangler.
I remember him just tearing the Celtics apart.
Toney against Bird. What a move.
He loved to play against the Celtics.
Andrew Toney over Maxwell. Basket counts and a foul. Andrew Toney.
I feared Andrew Toney even more than Michael Jordan.
Some people say that when he's on the mark, he's unstoppable.
Oh, God.
As the Boston Strangler was finishing off the Celtics in Game 7 of the conference finals, a rallying cry was born in Boston Garden.
Was it LA sucks? Beat LA?
Beat LA.
Beat LA.
You hear the crowd chanting to the Sixers? Beat LA.
Beat LA, that's great.
It was like the Boston fans and the Sixers united for a moment because the Boston fans were like, okay, we lost, and now we want you to beat LA.
They had enough class to say, hey, we ain't so mad that y'all beat us, y'all just outplayed us this time.
You truly made us feel good. That truly showed me a great deal of class.
Respectful nature of the Boston fan.
Haters everywhere, even when they're not playing LA, just hate.
While Andrew Toney was achieving cult status with the Sixers, a horned rim hero was redefining the role in Los Angeles.
Rabbits with the little pearl diver glasses.
Now, these are perfect. You should get fined if you wear real glasses in the game and you tape them.
He was the total end of the spectrum from Showtime with the Lakers.
Come on, guys, let's go snorkeling.
He couldn't jump. He wasn't a scorer.
He was broccoli on a plate of beautiful food.
You know, he's not even Superman. You got Clark Kent.
What a hustle by Kurt Rambis.
His only job was to rebound the ball, don't shoot the ball. When you touch the ball, give it to someone else.
The key to the fast break was Kurt Rambis. Kurt Rambis would get that ball in faster than anybody I've ever seen.
Super play by Kurt. He knew Rambis wasn't giving him 30, but he knew Rambis was going to give him dirty.
He wasn't the super duper star, but Kurt Rambis dove on the floor.
He was reckless endangerment.
Showtime needed that lunch pail guy, and he was it.
The second showdown in 3 seasons between the Sixers and the Lakers would produce the same old, same old.
From the Spectrum in Philadelphia, this is it, the battle for the supremacy of basketball, the championship of the world.
There's no greater way to give a face for sports unless you have a rivalry.
He was a beast from the East, and he was the best from the West.
High scoring, sparks flying again, and after that last tick of the clock.
3, 2, 1, the Lakers are the world champions.
I had one of the widest smiles that I've ever had in my life on my face. I finally done it.
Hey, this is the happiest moment in my life right now. It's taken me 10 years to get here, and I'm finally here. Come here, boy. Yeah, I finally got one.
NBA80s,